187. 187. Caitanya Charitamrta, Madhya lila, chapter 1.
Text,
Okay.
text 187. The two brothers, Caitanya Charitamrta, Madhya lila,
Chapter 1.
chapter 1, text 127, 187. Two brothers got up, and again, taking straw between their teeth, they humbly offered their prayers with folded hands. Text 188. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, the most merciful Savior of the fallen souls. All glories to the Supreme Personality. Text 189. Sir, we belong to the lowest class of men, and our associates in employment are also of the lowest type. Therefore, we cannot introduce ourselves to you. We feel very much ashamed standing here before you. Text 190. Dear Lord, let us inform you that no one is more sinful than us, nor is there any offender like us. Even if we wanted to mention our sinful activities, we would immediately become ashamed. And what to speak of giving them up? Text 191. The two brothers submitted, Dear Lord, you have incarnated to deliver the fallen souls. You should consider that in this world there is none so fallen as us. Text 192. You have delivered the two brothers, Jagai and Madai, but to deliver them, you did not have to exert yourself very much. Text 193. The brothers Jagai and Madai belonged to the Brahmana caste, and their residence was in the holy place of Navadvipa. They never served low-class persons, nor were they instruments to abominable activities. Text 194. Jagai and Madai had but one fault. They were addicted to sinful activity. However, volumes of sinful activity can be burned to ashes simply by a dimmed reflection of the chanting of your holy name. Text 195. Jagai and Madai uttered her holy name by way of blaspheming you. Fortunately, that holy name became the cause of their deliverance. Text 196. We too are millions and millions of times inferior to Jagai and Madai. We are more degraded, fallen, and sinful than they. Text 197. Actually, we belong to the caste of meat eaters because we are servants of meat eaters. Indeed, our activities are exactly like those of the meat eaters. Because we always associate with such people, we are inimical toward the cows and brahmanas. Text 198. The two brothers, Sakara Malika and Dabira Kasa, were humbly submitted that due to their abominable activities, they were now bound by the neck and hands and had been thrown into a ditch filled with abominable stool-like objects of material sense enjoyment. Text 199. No one within the three worlds is sufficiently powerful to deliver us. You are the only survivor of the fallen souls. Therefore, there is no one but you. Text 200. If you simply deliver us by your transcendental strength, then certainly your name will be known as Patita Pavana, the savior of the fallen souls. Text 201. Let us speak one word that is very true. Plainly hear us, O merciful one. There is no other object of mercy within the three worlds but us. Text 202. We are the most fallen, therefore, by showing us your mercy is most successful. Let the power of your mercy be exhibited throughout the entire universe. Text 203. Let us submit one piece of information before you. Dear Lord, it is not at all false, but is full of meaning. It is this. If you are not merciful upon us, then it will be very, very difficult to find more suitable candidates for your mercy. Text 204. We are very depressed at being unfit candidates for your mercy. Yet, since we have heard of your transcendental qualities, we are very much attracted to you. Text 205. Indeed, we are like a dwarf who wants to capture the moon. Although we are completely unfit, a desire to receive your mercy is awakening within our minds. Text 203. By serving you constantly, one is freed from all material desires and is completely pacified. When shall I engage as your permanent eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a fitting master? Text 207. After hearing the prayer of Dabira Kasa and Sakara Malika, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, My dear Dabira Kasa, you two brothers are my old servants. Text 208. My dear Sakara Malika, from this day your names will be changed to Srila Rupa and Srila Sanatana. Now please abandon your humility, for my heart is breaking to see you so humble. Text 209. You've written several letters showing your humility. I can understand your behavior from those letters. Text 210. By your letters, I could understand your heart. Therefore, in order to teach you, I sent you one verse which is read as follows. Text 211. If a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in carrying out her household affairs. But within her heart, she is always relishing feelings of association with her paramour. 212. I really had no business in coming to Bengal, but I have come just to see just you two brothers. Text 213. Everyone is asking why I have come to this village of Ramakeli. No one knows my intentions. Text 214. It is very good that you two brothers have come to see me. Now you can go home. Do not fear anything. Text 215. Birth after birth, you have been my eternal servants. I'm sure that Krishna will deliver you very soon. Text 216. The Lord then placed his two hands on the heads of both of them, and in return they immediately placed the lotus feet of the Lord on their heads. Text 217. After this, the Lord embraced both of them and requested all of the devotees present to be merciful upon them and deliver them. Text 218. When all of the devotees saw the mercy of the Lord upon the two brothers, they were very much gladdened, and they began to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hari Hari. Text 219. All the Vaishnava associates of the Lord were present, including Chaitanya, including Nityananda Prabhu, Haridasa Thakura, Srivasa Thakura, Gadadhara Pandita, Mukunda, Jagadananda, Murari, and Vakreshvara. Text 220. In accordance with the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the two brothers Rupa and Sanatana immediately touched the lotus feet of these Vaishnavas, who also became very happy and congratulated the two brothers for having received the mercy of the Lord. Text 221. After begging the permission of all the Vaishnavas present, the two brothers at that time of their departure humbly submitted something at the lotus feet of the Lord. Text 222. They said, Dear Lord, although the King of Bengal, Nawab Hussain Shah, is very respectful towards you, you have no other business here. Kindly depart from this place. Text 223. Although the king is respectful towards you, he still belongs to the Yavana class and should not be believed. We think that there is no need for such a great crowd to accompany you on your pilgrimage to Vrindavana. Text 224. Dear Lord, you're going to Vrindavana with hundreds and thousands of people following you, and this is not a fitting way to go to a pilgrimage. Text 225. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Sri Krishna himself, Text 225. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord, and was therefore not at all fearful, he still acted like a human being to teach neophytes how to act. Text 226. Having spoken thus, the two brothers offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord and returned to their homes. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then desired to leave that village. Text 227. In the morning, the Lord left and went to a place known as Caitanya. While there, he saw many pastimes of Lord Krishna. Purport. In those days in Bengal, there were many places known as Caitanya, where pictures of the pastimes of Lord Krishna were kept. People used to go there to see them. This is called Krishna Charita Lila. In Bengal, there are still many places called Harisabha, which indicates a place where local people gather to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and discuss the pastimes of Lord Krishna. The word Kanai means Lord Krishna, and Athasala indicates a place where pastimes are demonstrated. So those places which are at the present moment are called Harisabha may previously have been known as Kanai Nathasala. Text 228. That night, the Lord considered Sanatana Goswami's proposal that he should not go to Vrindavana, followed by so many people. Text 229. The Lord thought, if I go to Mathura with such crowds behind me, it would not be a very happy situation, for the atmosphere would be disturbed. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that visiting a holy place like Vrindavana with so many people is simply disturbing. He would not find the happiness he desired by visiting such holy places in that way. Text 230. The Lord concluded that he would go alone to Vrindavana, or at most would take only one person as his companion. In that way, going to Vrindavana would be very pleasant. Text 231. Thinking like this, the Lord took his morning bath in the Ganges and started for Nilachala, saying, I shall go there. Text 232. Walking and walking, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Santipura and remained at the house of Advaita Acharya for 5 to 7 days. Text 233. Taking this opportunity, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu sent for Mother Sachi Devi, and she remained at his house for 7 days to prepare the meals for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 234. Taking permission from his mother, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then started for Jagannath Puri. When the devotees followed him, he humbly begged them to remain and bade them all farewell. Text 235. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although requesting all the devotees to go back, allowed 2 people to follow him. He requested all the devotees to come to Jagannath Puri and meet him during the car festival. Text 236. The 2 persons who accompanied Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri were Balabhadra Bhattacharya and Damodara Pandita. Text 237. After remaining at Jagannath Puri for 7 days, the Lord secretly started for Vrindavana at night. He did this without anyone's knowledge. Text 238. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Jagannath Puri for Vrindavana, only Balabhadra Bhattacharya was with him. Thus, he traveled on the path through Charikhanda and arrived in Banaras, Varanasi, with great delight. Text 239. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Banaras only 4 days and then left for Vrindavana. After seeing the town of Mathura, he visited the 12 forests. Purport. Those who visit the Vrindavana area today also generally visit 12 places, known as the 12 forests. They start at Mathura, where there is Kamyavana. From there, they go to Talavana, Tamalavana, Madhuvana, Kusumavana, Bhandiravana, Bilavavana, Bhadravana, Khadiravana, Lohavana, Kumudavana, and Gokula Mahavana. Text 240. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited all 12 places of Sri Krishna's pastimes, he became very agitated because of ecstasy. Balabhadra Bhattacharya somehow or other got him out of Mathura. Text 241. After leaving Mathura, the Lord began to walk along the path on the bank of the Ganges, and finally, he reached the holy place named Prayaga, Allahabad. It was there that Srila Rupa Goswami came and met the Lord. Text 242. At Prayaga, Rupa Goswami fell down on the ground to offer obeisances to the Lord, and the Lord embraced him with great delight. Text 243. After instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami at Prayaga, at the Dasasvamedha Gatha, Caitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him to go to Vrindavana. The Lord then returned to Varanasi. Text 244. When Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Varanasi, Sanatana Goswami met him there. The Lord remained there for 2 months and instructed Sanatana Goswami perfectly. Text 247. After fully instructing Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent him to Mathura with empowered devotional service. In Banaras, he also bestowed his mercy upon the Mayavadi sannyasis. He then returned to Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. Text 246. The Lord traveled all over India for 6 years. He was sometimes here and sometimes there, performing his transcendental pastimes, and sometimes he remained at Jagannath Puri. Text 247. While at Jagannath Puri, the Lord passed his time in great joy by performing Sankirtana and visiting the temple of Jagannatha in great ecstasy. Text 248. Thus, I have given a synopsis of the Madhya lila, the middle pastimes of the Lord. Now, O devotees, kindly hear the synopsis of the final pastimes of the Lord, known as the Antya lila. Text 247. When the Lord returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavana, he remained there and did not go anywhere else for 18 years. Text 250. During those 18 years, all the devotees of Bengal used to visit him at Jagannath Puri every year. They would remain there for 4 continuous months and enjoy the company of the Lord. Text 251. At Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed chanting and dancing unceasingly. Thus, he enjoyed the pastime of Sankirtana. He manifested his causeless mercy, pure love for God, to everyone, including the lowest man. Text 252. Residing with the Lord of Jagannath Puri were Pandita Gosani and other devotees, such as Vakreswara, Damodara, Shankara, and Haridasa Thakura. Text 253. Jagadananda Bhagwan, Govinda, Kashishwara, Paramananda Puri, and Swarupa Damodara were other devotees who also lived with the Lord. Text 254. Sri Ramananda Raya and other devotees who were residents of Jagannath Puri also remained permanently with the Lord. Text 255, 256. Other devotees of the Lord, headed by Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda, Srivasa, Vidyanidhi, Vasudeva, and Murari, used to visit Jagannath Puri and remain with the Lord for 4 continuous months. The Lord enjoyed various pastimes in their company. Text 257. At Jagannath Puri, Haridasa Thakur passed away. The incident was very wonderful because the Lord himself performed the festival of Thakura Haridasa's departure. Text 258. At Jagannath Puri, Srila Rupa Goswami met the Lord again, and the Lord invested his heart with all transcendental power. Text 259. After this, the Lord punished Junior Haridasa, and Damodara Pandita gave some warning to the Lord. Purport. Actually, Damodara Pandita was the eternal servant of the Lord. He could not punish the Lord at any time, nor had he any desire to. But he did give some warning to the Lord so that others would not blaspheme him. Of course, he should have known that the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is free to act in any way. There is no need to warn him, and such an action is not very much appreciated by advanced devotees. Text 260. Thereafter, Sanatana Goswami met the Lord again, and the Lord tested him in scorching heat during this month of the Jaistha. Translation. Text 261. Being pleased, the Lord sent Sanatana Goswami back to Vrindavana. After that, he was fed wonderfully by the hands of Sri Advaita Acharya. Text 262. After sending Sanatana Goswami back to Vrindavana, the Lord privately consulted with Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He then sent him to Bengal to preach the love of Godhead. Text 267. Soon afterward, Vallabha Bhatta met the Lord of Jagannath Puri, and the Lord explained to him the import of the holy name of Krishna. Purport. Vallabha Bhatta is the head of the Vaishnava Sampradaya, known as the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya in Western India. There is a long story about Vallabha Acharya narrated in the Caitanya Caritamrta, specifically in the 7th chapter of the Antya Lila and the 19th chapter of the Madhya Lila. Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu visited the house of Vallabha Acharya on the other side of Prayaga, in a place known as Adaila Grama. Later, Vallabha Bhatta saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri to explain his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. He was very proud of his writings, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu corrected him, telling him that a Vaishnava should be humble and follow in the footsteps of his predecessors. The Lord told him that his pride as being superior to Sridhara Swami was not at all befitting a Vaishnava. Text 264. After explaining the transcendental qualities of Ramananda Raya, the Lord sent Pradyumna Mishra to his residence, and Pradyumna Mishra learned Krishna Katha from him. Text 265. After this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saved Gopinatha Patanayaka, the younger brother of Ramananda Raya, from being condemned to death by the king. Text 266. Ramachandra Puri criticized Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eating. Therefore, the Lord reduced his eating to a minimum. However, when all the Vaishnavas became very sorry, the Lord increased his portion to half as much as usual. Text 267. There are 14 planetary systems within the universe, and all living entities reside in those planetary systems. Text 268. Dressing like human beings on pilgrimage, they all used to come to Jagannath Puri to visit Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 269. One day, all the devotees headed by Srivasa Thakura were chanting the transcendental qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 270. Not liking the chanting of his transcendental qualities, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised them as if he were angry. What kind of chanting is this? He asked. Are you leaving aside the chanting of the holy name of the Lord? Text 271. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised all the devotees, telling them not to show impudence and spoil the entire world by becoming independent. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned all his followers not to become independent or impudent. Unfortunately, after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many Sampradayas, so-called followers, invented many ways not approved by the Acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakura has described them as the Aula Bola, Karta Bhaja Neda, Daravesa, Sani, Sahajiya, Sakhi Beki, Smartha, Jata Gosani, Ativadi, Chaudhadhari, and Gaurangan Nagari. The Ola Sampradaya, Bola Sampradaya, and others invented their own ways of understanding Lord Chaitanya's philosophy without following in the footsteps of the Acharyas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself indicates herein that all such attempts would simply spoil the spirit of his cult. Text 272. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was apparently in an angry mood and chastising his devotees, many thousands of people outside loudly cried in a tumultuous voice, "All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." Text 273. All the people began to call very loudly, "All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the son of Maharajananda. Now you have appeared in order to deliver the whole world." Text 274. O Lord, we are very unhappy. We have come a long distance to see you. Please be merciful and show us your favor.
She's here. She can take over. You can read one more. You see it, right?
Yes.
Please give me. Hi, Hare Krishna. 275. Hare Krishna. When the Lord heard the text 275, when the Lord heard the humble petition made by the people, his heart softened. Being very merciful, he immediately came out and gave audience to all of them. Text 276. Raising his arms, the Lord asked everyone to chant loudly the vibration of the holy name of Lord Hari. There immediately arose a great stir, and the vibration of Hari filled all directions. Text 277. Seeing the Lord, everyone became joyful out of love. Everyone accepted the Lord as the supreme, and thus they offered their prayers. Text 278. While the people were offering their prayers unto the Lord, Srivas Thakur sarcastically said to the Lord, "At home you wanted to be covered. Why have you exposed yourself outside?" Text 279. Srivas Thakura continued, "Who has taught these people? What are they saying? Now you can cover their mouths with your own hand." Text 280. It is as if the sun, after rising, wanted to hide itself. We cannot understand such characteristics in your behavior. Text 281. The Lord replied, "My dear Srinivasa, please stop joking. You have all combined together to humiliate me in this way." Text 282. Thus speaking, the Lord entered his room after glancing auspiciously upon the people out of charity. In this way, the desires of the people were completely fulfilled. Text 283. At this time, Raghunath Dasa approached Sri Nityananda Prabhu and, according to his order, prepared a feast and distributed prasadam composed of chipped rice and curd. Purport. There is a special preparation in Bengal wherein chipped rice is mixed with curd and sometimes with sandesha and mango. It is a very palatable food offered to the deity and then distributed to the public. Raghunath Das Goswami, who was a householder at this time, met Nityananda Prabhu. According to his advice, he executed this festival of Dadi Chuda Prasada. Text 284. Later, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami left home and took shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. At that time, the Lord received him and placed him under the care of Swarupa Damodara for spiritual enlightenment purport. In this regard, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami writes in Vilapa Kusumanjali, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who by his unreserved mercy kindly saved me from household life, which is exactly like a blind well without water, and placed me in the ocean of transcendental joy under the care of Swarupa Damodara Goswami. Text 285. Later, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped Brahmananda Bharati's habit of wearing deer skin. The Lord thus enjoyed his pastimes continuously for 6 years, experiencing varieties of transcendental bliss. Text 286. I have thus given a synopsis of the Madhya lila. Now please hear the pastimes the Lord performed during the last 12 years. Purport. Thus, Srila Kaviraj Goswami, strictly following in the footsteps of Sri Vyasadeva, gives a synopsis of the Leelas of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. He has given such a description at the end of each canto. In the Adi Leela, he outlined the pastimes of the Lord in the 5 stages of boyhood, leaving the details of the description to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura. Now, in this chapter, the pastimes that took place at the end of the Lord's life are summarized. These are described in the Madhya Lila and Antya Lila. The rest of the pastimes have been described in a synopsis in the second chapter of the Madhya Lila. In this way, the author has gradually described both the Madhya Lila and the Antya Lila. Text 287. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadasa narrates Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Purport. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, first chapter, summarizing the later pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chapter 2. The ecstatic manifestations of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the second chapter of the Madhya Lila, the author describes the pastimes the Lord performed during the last 12 years of his life. Thus, he has also described some of the pastimes of the Antya Lila. Why he has done so is very difficult for an ordinary person to understand. The author expects that reading the pastimes of the Lord will gradually help a person awaken his dormant love of Krishna. Actually, this Chaitanya Charitamrita was compiled by the author during very old age. Fearing he might not be able to finish the book, he has included a synopsis of the Antya Lila here in the second chapter. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has confirmed that the opinion of Swarupa Damodara is authoritative in the matter of devotional service. Over and above this are the notes of Swarupa Damodara, memorized by Raghunath Das Goswami, who also helped in the compilation of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. After the disappearance of Swarupa Damodara Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami went to Vrindavan. At the time, the author Srila Kaviraj Goswami met Raghunath Das Goswami, by whose mercy he also could memorize all the notes. In this way, the author was able to complete this transcendental literature, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Text 1. While reading in synopsis from the last division of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this chapter I shall describe the Lord's transcendental ecstasy, which appears like madness due to his separation from Krishna. Purport. In the second chapter, the activities of Lord Chaitanya that took place after the Lord accepted sannyasa are generally described. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is specifically mentioned here as being Gaura or of fair complexion. Krishna is generally known to be blackish, but when he is observed in the thoughts of the gopis, who are all of fair complexion, Krishna himself also becomes fair. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in particular, felt separation from Krishna very deeply, exactly like a lover who is dejected in separation from the beloved. Such feelings which were expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for nearly 12 years at the end of his pastimes are described in brief in the second chapter of Madhya lila. Text 2. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. Text 3. During his last 12 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always manifested all the symptoms of ecstasy in separation from Krishna. Text 4. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's state of mind day and night was practically identical to Radharani's state of mind when Uddhava came to Vrindavan to see the gopis. Text 5. The Lord constantly exhibited a state of mind reflecting the madness of separation. All his activities were based on forgetfulness and his talks were always based on madness. Text 6. Blood flowed from all the pores of his body and all his teeth were loosened. At one moment his whole body became slender and at another moment his whole body became fat. Text 7. The small room beyond the corridor is called the Gambhira. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to stay in that room, but he did not sleep for a moment. All night he used to grind his mouth and head on the wall, and his face sustained injuries all over. Text 8. Although the three doors of the house were always closed, the Lord would nonetheless go out and sometimes would be found at the Jagannath temple before the gate known as Simhadwara, and sometimes the Lord would fall flat into the sea. Text 9. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would also run very fast across the sand dunes, mistaking them from Govardhana. As he ran, he would wail and cry loudly. Purport. Because of the winds of the sea, sometimes the sand would form dunes. Such sand dunes are called Chataka Parvata. Instead of seeing these sand dunes simply as hills of sand, the Lord would take them to be Govardhan Hill. Sometimes he would run toward these dunes at high speed, crying very loudly, expressing the state of mind exhibited by Radharani. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and his pastimes. His state of mind brought him the atmosphere of Vrindavan and Govardhan Hill, and thus he enjoyed the transcendental bliss of separation and meeting. Text 10. Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mistook the small parks of the city for Vrindavan. Sometimes he would go there, dance and chant, and sometimes fall unconscious in spiritual ecstasy. Text 11. The extraordinary transformations of the body due to transcendental feelings would never have been possible for anyone but the Lord in whose body all transformations were manifest. Purport. The aesthetic transformations of the body described in such exalted literatures as the Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu are practically not seen in this material world. However, these symptoms were perfectly present in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These symptoms are indicative of Mahabhava or the highest ecstasy. Sometimes Sahajiyas artificially imitate these symptoms, but experienced devotees reject such imitations immediately. The author admits herein that these symptoms are not to be found anywhere but in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 12. The joints of his hands and legs would sometimes become separated by 8 inches and they remained connected only by the skin. Text 13. Sometimes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hands, legs, and head would all enter within his body, just like the withdrawn limbs of a tortoise. Text 14. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to manifest wonderful ascetic symptoms. His mind appeared vacant, and there were only hopelessness and disappointment in his words. Text 15. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to express his mind in this way. Where is the Lord of my life who is playing his flute? What shall I do now? Where should I go to find the son of Maharaj Nanda? Text 16. To whom should I speak? Who can understand my disappointment? Without the son of Nanda Maharaj, my heart is broken. Text 17. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always expressed bewilderment and lamented in separation from Krishna. At such times, he used to recite the slokas from Ramananda Raya's drama known as Jagannatha Vallabha Nataka. Text 18. Srimati Radharani used to lament, our Krishna does not realize what we have suffered from injuries inflicted in the course of loving affairs. We are actually misused by love because love does not know where to strike and where not to strike. Even Cupid does not know of our very much weakened condition. What should I tell anyone? No one can understand another's difficulties. Our life is actually not under our control. For youth will remain for 2 or 3 days and no soon be finished. In this condition, O Creator, what will be our destination? Purport. This verse is from the Jagannatha Vallabha Nachaka of Ramananda Raya. Text 19. Srimati Radharani spoke thus in distress due to separation from Krishna. Oh, what shall I say of my distress? After I met Krishna, my loving propensity sprouted, but upon separating from him, I sustained a great shock, which is now continuing like the sufferings of a disease. The only physician for this disease is Krishna himself, but he is not taking care of this sprouting plant of devotional service. What can I say about the behavior of Krishna outwardly? He is a very attractive young lover, but at heart, he is a great cheat, very expert in killing others' wives. Text 20. Srimati Radharani continued lamenting about the consequences of loving Krishna. My dear friend, I do not understand the regulative principles given by the Creator. I loved Krishna for happiness, but the result was just the opposite. I am now in an ocean of distress. It must be that now I am going to die, for my vital force no longer remains. This is my state of mind. Text 21. By nature, loving affairs are very crude. They are not entered with sufficient knowledge, nor do they consider whether a place is suitable or not, nor do they look forward to the results. By the ropes of his good qualities, Krishna, who is so unkind, has bound my neck and hands, and I am unable to get relief. Text 22. In my loving affairs, there is a person named Madhana. His qualities are thus personally, he possesses no gross body, yet he is very expert in giving pains to others. He have 5 arrows and fixing them on his bow, he shoots them into the bodies of innocent women. Thus, these women become invalids. It would be better if he took my life without hesitation, but he does not do so. He simply gives me pain. Text 23. In the scriptures, it is said that one person can never know the unhappiness in the mind of another. Therefore, what can I say of my dear friends Lalita and the others? Nor can they understand the unhappiness within me. They simply try to console me repeatedly, saying, dear friend, be patient. Text 24. I say, my dear friends, you are asking me to be patient, saying that Krishna is an ocean of mercy and that sometime in the future he will accept me. However, I must say that this will not console me. A living entity's life is very flickering. It is like water on the leaf of a lotus flower. Who will live long enough to expect Krishna's mercy? Text 25. A human being does not live more than 100 years. You should also consider that the youthfulness of a woman, which is the only attraction for Krishna, remains for only a few days. Text 26. If you say that Krishna is an ocean of transcendental qualities and therefore must be merciful someday, I can only say that he is like fire, which attracts moths by its dazzling brightness and kills them. Such are the qualities of Krishna. By showing us his transcendental qualities, he attracts our minds, and then later, by separating from us, he drowns us in an ocean of unhappiness. Text 27. In this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in a great ocean of sadness, and thus he opened the doors of his unhappiness. Forced by the waves of ecstasy, his mind wandered over transcendental mellows, and he recited another verse as follows. Text 28. My dear friends, unless I serve the transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna, all my days and all my senses will become entirely useless. Now I am uselessly bearing the burden of my senses, which are like stone blocks and dried wood. I do not know how long I will be able to continue without shame. Text 29. Of what use are the eyes of one who does not see the face of Krishna, which resembles the moon and is the birthplace of all beauty and the reservoir of the nectarian songs of his flute? Oh, let a thunderbolt strike his head. Why does he keep such eyes? Purport. The moon-like face of Krishna is a reservoir of nectarian songs and the abode of his flute. It is also the root of all bodily beauty. The gopis think that if their eyes are not engaged in seeing the beautiful face of Krishna, it would be better for them to be struck by a thunderbolt. For the gopis to see anything but Krishna is uninteresting and indeed detestable. The gopis are never pleased to see anything but Krishna. The only solace for their eyes is the beautiful moon-like face of Krishna, the worshipful object of all senses. When they cannot see the beautiful face of Krishna, they actually see everything as vacant and they desire to be struck by a thunderbolt. They do not find any reason to maintain their eyes when they are barefoot of the beauty of Krishna. Text 30. My dear friends, please hear me. I have lost all providential strength. Without Krishna, my body, consciousness, and mind, as well as all my senses, are useless. Text 31. Topics about Krishna are like waves of nectar. If such nectar does not enter one's ear, the ear is not no better than the whole of a damaged conch shell. Such an ear is created for no purport. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes the following verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of Godhead. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe all around us? Do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? Men who are like dogs, hawks, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord, should be considered to possess ear like the holes of snakes and a tongue like that of a frog. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden, if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead. Who can award mukti, freedom, and the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man, if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead Hari? The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, names, qualities, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of a peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. The person who has not at any time received upon his head the dust from the feet of a pure devotee of the Lord is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the flavor of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Certainly, that heart is steel frame which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change and feel ecstasy, at which time tears fill the eyes and the hair stand on end. Text 32. The nectar from the lips of Lord Krishna and his transcendental qualities and characteristics surpass the taste of the essence of all nectar, and there is no fault in tasting such nectar. If one does not taste it, he should die immediately after birth, and his tongue is to be considered no better than the tongue of a frog. Text 33. One's nostrils are no better than the bellows of a blacksmith if one has not smelled the fragrance of Krishna's body, which is like the aroma of musk combined with that of a bluish lotus flower. Indeed, such combinations are actually defeated by the aroma of Krishna's body. Text 34. The palms of Krishna's hands and the soles of his feet are so cool and pleasant that they can be compared only to the light of millions of moons. One who has touched such hands and feet has indeed tasted the effects of touchstone. If one has not touched them, his life is spoiled and his body is like iron. Text 35. Lamenting in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the doors of grief within his heart. Morose, humble, and disappointed, he recited a verse again and again with a despondent heart. Despondent heart. Purport. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the word dainya, that is humility, is explained as follows. When unhappiness, fearfulness, and the sense of having offended combine, one feels condemned. This sense of condemnation is described as dinata, humility. When one is subjected to such humility, he feels physically inactive, he apologizes, and his consciousness is disturbed. His mind is also restless, and many other symptoms are visible. The word nirveda is also explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One may feel unhappiness and separation as well as jealousy and lamentation due to not discharging one's duties. The despondency that results is called nirveda. When one is captured by this despondency, thoughts, tears, loss of bodily luster, humility, and heavy breathing result. Vishada is also explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When one fails to achieve his desired goal of life and repents for all his offenses, there is a state of regret called Vishada. The symptoms of Avashada are also explained. One hankers to revive his original condition and inquires how to do so. There are also deep thought, heavy breathing, crying, and lamentation, as well as a changing of the bodily color and drying up of the tongue. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 33 such distinctive symptoms are mentioned. They are expressed in words, in the eyebrows and in the eyes. These symptoms are called Vyabhichari Bhava, which stuck to ecstasy. If they continue, they are sometimes called Sanchari or continued ecstasy. Text 36. If by chance the transcendental form of Krishna comes before my path of vision, my heart, injured from being beaten, will be stolen away by Cupid happiness personified. Because I could not see the beautiful form of Krishna to my heart's content, when I again see his form, I shall decorate the phases of time with many shovels. Purport. This verse is spoken by Srimati Radharani in the Jagannath Vallabha Nachaka of Ramananda Raya. Text 37. Whenever I had the chance to see Lord Krishna's face and his flute, even in a dream, two enemies would appear before me. They were pleasure and Cupid, and since they took away my mind, I was not able to see the face of Krishna to the full satisfaction of my eyes. Text 38. If by chance such a moment comes when I can once again see Krishna, then I shall worship those seconds, moments, and hours with flower garlands and pulp of sandalwood and decorate them with all kinds of jewels and ornaments. Text 39. In an instant, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained external consciousness and saw two persons before him. Questioning them, I asked, am I conscious? What dreams have I been seeing? What craziness have I spoken? Have you heard some expressions of humility? Purport. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus spoke in ecstasy, he saw two persons before him. One was his secretary Swarupa Damodar and the other was Raya Ramananda. Coming to his external consciousness, he saw them both present, and although he was still talking in the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani, he immediately began to question whether he was the same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 40. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear friends, you are all my life and soul. Therefore, I tell you that I possess no wealth of love for Krishna. Consequently, my life is poverty stricken. My limbs and senses are useless. Text 41. Again, he addressed Swarupa Damodar and Raya Ramananda, speaking despondently. Alas, my friends, you can now know the certainty within my heart, and after knowing my heart, you should judge whether I am correct or not. You can speak of this property of this properly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then began to chant another verse. Text 42. Love of Godhead, devoid of cheating propensities, is not possible within this material world. If there is such a love, there cannot be separation. For if there is separation, how can one live? Purport. This is a verse in a common language called Prakrita, and the exact Sanskrit transformation is Kataiva Rahitam Premana Nahi Bhavati Manuse Loka Yadi Bhavati Kasya Viraho Virahe Satyapiko Jivati. Text 43. Pure love for Krishna, just like gold from the Jambu river, does not exist in human society. If it existed, there could not be separation. If separation were there, one could not live. Text 44. Thus speaking, the son of Srimati Sachimata recited another wonderful words, and Ramananda Raya and Swarupa Damodara heard these words with rapt attention. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I feel shameful to disclose the activities of my heart. Nonetheless, I shall be done with all formalities and speak from the heart. Please hear. Text 45. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear friends, I have not the slightest sting of love of Godhead within my heart. When you see me crying in separation, I am just falsely exhibiting a demonstration of my great fortune. Indeed, not seeing the beautiful face of Krishna playing his flute, I continue to live my life like an insect without purpose. Text 46. Actually, my love for Krishna is far, far away. Whatever I do is actually an exhibition of pseudo love of Godhead. When you see me cry, I am simply falsely demonstrating my great fortune. Please try to understand this beyond a doubt. Text 47. Even though I do not see the moon like face of Krishna as he plays on his flute, and although there is no possibility of my meeting him, still I take care of my own body. That is the way of lust. In this way, I maintain my fly like life. Purport. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the lovable Supreme Lord is the supreme shelter. The Lord is the supreme subject and the devotees are the object. The coming together of a subject and object is called alambhana. The object hears and the subject plays the flute. That the object cannot see the moonlight face of Krishna and has no eagerness to see him is the sign of being without alambhana. Externally imagining such a thing simply satisfies one's lusty desires and thus one lives without purpose. Text 48. Love for Lord Krishna is very pure, just like the waters of the Ganges. That love is an ocean of nectar. That pure attachment to Krishna does not conceal any spot, which would appear just like a spot of ink on a white cloth. Purport. Unalloyed love of Krishna is just like a big sheet of white cloth. The absence of attachment is compared to a black spot on that white cloth. Just as the black spot is prominent, so the absence of love of Godhead is prominent on the platform of pure love of Godhead. Text 49. Unalloyed love of Krishna is like an ocean of happiness. If someone gets one drop of it, the whole world can drown in that drop. It is not befitting to express such love of Godhead, yet a madman must speak. But even though he speaks, no one believes him. Listen, first we will go through how to stop it, okay? So we just click on this.
The green one?
Yeah. We'll stop. ఇదే కదా stop. We'll stop sharing, but you know.